energy and exactly how we have provided power in our lives has changed dramatically over history. The burning of wood started nearly 2 million years ago for the purpose of cooking food, and the very first example of space heating. A vast amount of time passed before the next large shift in energy use, when charcoal was used to smelt metals, an early example of industrial energy requirements. 3,000 years ago saw the first examples of coal being used as a fuel in China. It wasn't until 1769, with the development of the steam engine, that the use of coal as a power source became common. Now, not even 250 years on, and coal provides 40% of the world's power.
In the UK at the moment, the average household emits around 5.5 tonnes of CO2, carbon dioxide, every year. And that's the carbon dioxide that's having the effect on the environment, that's causing climate change. 45% of the carbon dioxide emissions in the UK comes from us, comes from you and me, how we live our lives at home, the energy we use to heat, power and provide light in our homes, and how we get about the place. So it's actually, almost half of that is down to us. So it is, if we're going to meet those targets, that 80% reduction by the year 2050, it is down to all of us to do that.
An average UK home will spend nearly £1,200 a year on domestic energy. If you add the petrol to power your car, you will easily double that figure. It is therefore important to ensure the energy that is used is not wasted. Early humans would control fire to provide warmth, much the same way as modern humans can control a thermostat. However, only a tiny amount of the energy released by those early fires would actually provide warmth. The majority would disappear into the atmosphere. Nowadays, we can control our heat usage far more efficiently. We live in buildings that are designed to contain the heat our boilers create. But a building should not be completely sealed off from the world. A ventilated home is a healthy home.
Envirovent was formed in 1987 by a local entrepreneur called Frank Farmer, and it was set up really because Frank recognised that there was a growing health problem in our homes in the UK as a result of a big drive for energy efficiency measures. So a lot of homeowners at the moment, for the past 20 years, have been trying to create a more energy efficient environment in the homes by putting in loft insulation, cavity wall, double glazing, doing draft proofing, sealing up coal fires, open coal fires. And basically what we've created is a sealed environment where we all live, which is quite nice and warm, energy efficient. But what we've created is a potential health problem because the indoor air quality has suffered a result. And Frank recognised this going back nearly 25 years ago. And he found a system that introduces fresh filtered air into a property that is not only energy efficient, it not only contributes to the energy efficiency measures that people are taking, but it also offsets the potential health problem that's being created by sealing properties up. And the system that he helped to develop was called positive input ventilation, which is basically it's a system that either sits in a loft space or on a wall, and it delivers fresh filtered air continuously at very low levels. And basically what that does, it dilutes indoor humidity, but also it displaces a lot of other airborne contaminants. There are a lot of chemicals in air that you don't see, but you're breathing day in, day out. Things like formaldehydes, volatile organic compounds. When you spray, say, deodorants and use bleach and chemicals, there's actually airborne gases that go into your lungs. And if you get too many of them, then you can start to feel ill. But by diluting humidity as well, we also deal with things like dust mites and mould spores, which, if they are breathed in, they can become quite harmful to humans. Mould spores are toxic, and dust mites and the droppings are the main triggers for asthma. So if you keep the humidity levels quite low, then you can control a lot of these things. The beauty about positive input ventilation is it's very easy to install. It doesn't take a lot of time when compared to things like extract fans. It deals with the whole property, and a system that sits in a loft space takes advantage of solar gain in the loft. There's around about 550 kilowatts of free energy in a loft that's created by the sun, that's just trapped in a loft. So we take that energy and deliver it into the property. So not only does it have many health benefits, and it also improves the environment in the property, but it also delivers a lot of free energy that you wouldn't normally see.
The funny thing is that a lot of these, the energy efficiency measures that are being installed today have been around for quite a long time. The loft insulation, cavity wall insulation, even things like solar electricity panels. They've been around for many, many years now, but they're becoming more mainstream.
The use of renewable energy sources has increased over the last 30 years, and we now estimate around 20% of our energy comes from renewable sources. Sunlight, wind, rain, water and geothermal heat have been used throughout history, but it's only recently that they have been truly harnessed. In ancient Greece and Rome, water mills were designed to grind flour, and the first cast iron water wheel followed in the Middle Ages. Just over 100 years ago, the first house to be powered by hydroelectricity was situated in Northumberland. The use of the sun's solar power has an even longer history, with Native Americans building their homes into the sides of hills to use this natural energy source. This meant that the sun's energy would store up in the walls during the day and then be released at night. The designing of glass houses to create the right conditions for crops and plants are also an early example of utilising a renewable energy source. Then in 1776 the first solar collector was built. 100 years later, and a steam engine was powered by the sun. Nowadays, solar energy is accessible for most households, even in an overcast Britain.
Carbon Zero UK Limited was set up 2009 as a purpose-built vehicle for the renewable energy sector. We supply and install renewable energy such as solar photovoltaics, solar thermal systems, ground and air source heat pumps, biomass boilers, wind turbines and rainwater harvesting. We work across the domestic and commercial sectors. We're able to do the supply, design and installs of all the systems and also the commission and maintenance of them. We find that the domestic market come to us initially as advice to see what we can do, particularly on individual houses, and we are able to give a full options so that people can go away and assess what we can do and feel what's best set up for their particular home. Biomass essentially is a form of heating. It can be retrofitted very easily to an existing central heating system. It also is getting specified into large commercial builds. A biomass boiler in simplest forms can be split into three main compartments. You've got the burner itself, which is connected to a hot water cylinder within the building. You've got the supply system, which basically is fed off of a store, and the store itself. Now the fuel feeding into the store can be through three different methods. It can be a manufactured pellet, it can be a wood chip, or it can even be a log. The main objective for our clients and end users coming to Carbon Zero UK is the demand for the supply of the fuel for biomass. We're able to source local suppliers, which really is an attractive option for our consumers because it's sourced locally. There's a lot of flexibility in a biomass boiler where it can be simply hooked up to an existing hot water system in a 3-bed detached house, or it can be linked into a much larger commercial project. The essence is you still have a heat source, whether it's radiators or underfloor heating, through also the demand on hot water. All those essential elements are still there, it's just the heat source itself is being replaced by carbon neutral. Customers who already have a working central heating system, let's say off oil burner, can replace the oil burner very easily with a biomass boiler. The same equipment and components within the property stay the same regarding the radiators, underfloor heating and hot water cylinder. So it's purely just the heat source is being replaced for a more carbon neutral, environmentally friendly source of heat. The refilling process of a biomass boiler is very, very easy. There's two ways of it. It can either be done on an automatic hopper feed or it can be done manually. As opposed to oil burners where there's a big tanker arriving maybe once a month, twice a month, where it could cause disruption to local transport. You don't have that with biomass. You can get biomass supplies on loads, but it also comes in very easy, convenient bags as well, where the end user can go off to the local supply, stock up the back of the car and store them in a dry place. Well, biomass boiler system is very environmentally friendly. The main source of the biomass is wood, which when a plant is in its living state stores the carbon dioxide. When it's burnt, it releases it into the atmosphere, which is actually a carbon neutral process. A lot of the supply merchants are actually replanting trees purely to be chopped down and be burnt for biomass use. So for every tree was being burnt, there are the replanting process. Also with local councils and woodland areas, there's an abundance of dead wood which naturally falls to the ground and has to be removed. Now this can be also used for biomass burning as well.
Burning fossil fuels is traditionally what we've done to provide the energy that we need to live our lives. But renewable energies are coming online, things like wind power, tidal power, solar energy from the sun. These things are starting to come online more and more, and actually coming online both on the large scale, so huge wind farms that you might see, but also on the small scale as well, so that we can have them in our own homes. So people putting solar panels on their roofs and wind turbines on their chimneys, that kind of thing. So as those technologies develop more and more, the balance will start to shift away from fossil fuels towards more renewable sources of energy.
With energy efficiency at an all-time high and renewables becoming ever more popular, our reliance on fossil fuels is looking increasingly unnecessary. New carbon emissions targets provide businesses with the motivation to research newer and more efficient technologies. It's possible that one day we can all use as much energy as we need without the need to burn polluting fuels. Join us after the break to find out more.
It's that time of year again when many of our homes become prone to streaming windows and unsightly black mold, but they needn't be. To avoid problems caused by condensation and stale air, we need good ventilation, but that doesn't have to mean opening the windows and letting all the heat out. Envirovent has the solution with our energy-efficient range of ventilation products designed to improve indoor air quality and keep your home fresh. What's more, we can even help to alleviate the symptoms of respiratory problems such as asthma. Call us on 0845 2727 807 to deal with your condensation and mold problems now. Or visit our website at homeventilation.co.uk. Carbon Zero UK are your #1 choice in renewable energy. We're local to you and supply and install all types of technologies under one roof. We're a highly experienced company with high levels of experience in the building and construction industry. You can be confident our staff are more than qualified to look after your project. Carbon Zero UK is run by a team of construction professionals. We've many years' experience in project management and delivering a quality service to our customers. Call today for a free no-obligation quotation or visit our website. We care about every project and all customers are treated the same no matter what the project cost. We work with homeowners as well as the building and construction industry. Call us today and see how you can save and make money on your energy. Carbon Zero UK. Our planet, our lives, our living. EcoFlap, part of a whole letterbox system, is a draft stopper for your existing letterbox. Fitted on the inside of your door, it'll stop drafts but not your mail. Has no springs or brushes, in fact nothing to trap the mail. It uses gravity and any wind to keep shut and won't blow open even in strong gales. The automatic adjustable opening enables up to a Yellow Pages directory and A4 in width to be delivered, plus retrofits a very small letterbox to just over the standard size. Stop sneaky letterbox drafts filtering through. These not only attack you, but also a nearby thermostat. This will kick your boiler into action and unnecessarily raise your house temperature, which you'll be paying for. EcoFlap will save you energy costs, fits easily, giving effective immediate benefit at no expense of changing your complete letterbox system. It's that time of year again when many of our homes become prone to streaming windows and unsightly black mold, but they needn't be. To avoid problems caused by condensation and stale air, we need good ventilation, but that doesn't have to mean opening the windows and letting all the heat out. Envirovent has the solution with our energy-efficient range of ventilation products designed to improve indoor air quality and keep your home fresh. What's more, we can even help to alleviate the symptoms of respiratory problems such as asthma. Call us on 0845 2727 807 to deal with your condensation and mold problems now. Or visit our website at homeventilation.co.uk.
The ventilation of a home is traditionally achieved through windows being opened, extractor fans and ventilation slits at the top of windows and doors. In a building that is well insulated, a regular flow of fresh air is essential to avoid moisture developing and then reducing the effectiveness of your insulation. Ventilating your home traditionally means that heat will escape. This is where a heat recovery system can be invaluable.
Heat recovery is a combination of both input and extract, so it's a little bit of a combination between positive input ventilation and extract fans. Now the problem with the traditional type ventilation extract fans is when you put an extract fan on, you basically, when you're taking contaminated air out, you're also taking energy out at the same time. So a heat recovery system, it extracts that contaminated air, but at the same time it brings in fresh filtered air back into to the habitable rooms, and it collects the energy that's normally lost in the extract air. So the latest heat recovery systems will recover up to about 95% of energy that's normally lost. The advantage of heat recovery is you can have a completely airtight dwelling because you're bringing fresh filtered air as well as extracting it at the same time. The Lifetime range is a range of products that are manufactured here in Harrogate, and the philosophy behind the Lifetime range is that, well, first of all, they're made in the UK, so the carbon footprint's low. We try to source as many components as we can locally, so we create local employment but keep the carbon footprint down. And when we build these products, we design them so that they're going to last the life cycle of a dwelling. When a landlord is designing, say, a refurbishment, they'll look at a long-term life cycle cost of, say, 25 years. Then in 2004 we launched a new product called the filterless fan, the Envirovent filterless fan, which it incorporates cyclone separation technology, which has been used for decades in like sawmills and mines, things like that. And basically it's an extract fan that doesn't need a filter, and it removes all the indoor contaminants by using this cyclone separation technology, so they all end up outside instead of stuck in a filter or stuck to the fan. So we can offer this to like local authorities, landlords, and the fan will run for 5 years and beyond without maintenance. And basically what that means is that local authorities, social housing landlords, instead of fitting fans that need regular maintenance every 6 to 12 months, our fan doesn't need maintenance for at least 5 years. So the savings in ongoing maintenance runs into tens of millions of pounds. It really does, because a lot of local authorities, housing associations, have got thousands of properties. So if you look at a life cycle cost analysis, it works into a big saving for the client, but also the environmental aspect. All of our products, at the heart of every product is an ultra low watt motor. Some of them we manufacture here in Harrogate, which makes us really unique. And they use minimum energy. It's probably about 90% less energy than a traditional type product. And because they're designed to last for life, all the plastics, the electronics and the motor, they're all made in a modular form. So at any time, should anything break down, it's a quick replacement in the property. So you'll never see an Envirovent product on a landfill site. And what that means is not only do we save the end user a lot of money in energy, but we don't end up clogging our landfill tips up with non-biodegradable waste, which a lot of domestic type products end up there.
There is a rich history of renewable energy sources being used by civilizations, from wind-powered turbines used 5000 BC along the Nile, to the geothermal heat used for cooking and bathing by the Paleo-Indians over 10,000 years ago. It wasn't until the late 19th century that the concept of turning these renewable sources into energy started to develop. For most of the 20th century, renewable energy has been a minor aspect of energy production, but in the last 10 years, there has been a groundswell of change.
Carbonzy UK's environmental policy mirrors the biomass process, where we try and set out and achieve carbon neutral for our customers. We get approached with a brief and ambitions to become carbon zero and carbon neutral in buildings, and how we do that is we sit down with the client and we understand what the existing building is at the moment, and we implement small measures to start the ball rolling. Recently, more so ever, there's been a lot in the press regarding financial incentives regarding renewable energy. The feed-in tariff, which came into force in 2009, is a financial incentive for the end user to generate electricity via renewables. Now, the renewables suitable for that are solar PV, which is the photovoltaic panels, wind generation by wind turbines, and also hydro. The maximum tariff lasts for 25 years, which is applicable to solar photovoltaics, and then reduces for wind turbines to 20 years. We're being introduced next year with the renewable heat incentive, which mirrors the feed-in tariff but purely for heat generation. The end user putting either electrical generation or heat generation will get paid a set amount per kilowatt of energy produced, and that rate will be guaranteed for the generation of the tariff. Now, the tips obviously out there are obviously to be sensible about it, have a proactive approach to electrical and also heat wastage. So wherever you're leaving lights on all night, the obvious thing is obviously to turn them off, but also to look at mobile phone sockets where things are plugged in 24/7 and not necessarily getting used. Have a look around the home, have a look around the office, and have a proactive and realistic approach to say, do we really need to have that plugged in? If not, remove it. We're more than happy to talk to domestic and commercial users on reducing their energy consumption and also generating their energy. But it's important that they don't just go out to contractors like ourselves who supply and install the products. The main source of information they should use is Energy Saving Trust websites and government-based websites, so they can get a real understanding of A, the systems out there, and B, the procedures, what they should be following to appoint a contractor to assist them along the way.
I think at the moment people's first priority is, their pockets, their wallets, and the great thing about energy saving is that it saves you money on your energy bills as well as being good for the environment.
The cost of powering our homes has been changed dramatically over the last 100 years. Aside from a brief reduction in consumer costs after the privatisation of electricity and gas suppliers over 20 years ago, the trend has been for energy costs to increase without fail. All signs suggest they will continue to increase, so it is important to ensure that we don't have to put more money aside to pay for our energy needs. The Energy Saving Trust can provide advice that is specific to your situation, and will do so free of charge.
Envirovent's growth over the last 6 years has been built on the environmental credentials that we believe in. And it's not just all about the product, it's about the company itself. Our philosophy is, first of all, to build products that are going to save people energy and hopefully improve the health. But also we're continuously trying to reduce our own carbon footprint as a company as well. For example, we have got a fleet of vehicles because we have our own installers. And we've recently signed up to a new tracking device or tracking system which maintains speed levels and fuel consumption at a very low level, and that's saved our carbon emissions by about 25%. Every 6 minutes now an Envirovent product is installed somewhere in the UK, in a home in the UK, and every one of those products is first of all designed to last the life cycle of the building, so it should never end up on landfill. But also at the heart of every product is ultra low watt technology, which saves people on their energy bills. And these products are designed to deliver fresh filtered air into properties, which means that the occupants don't have to keep opening the windows. Traditionally, to ventilate a property going back over a century, the answer to ventilation was open your window. But now, if you open your window, you're going to let all your energy out. So you can keep your windows closed. You can fit either single room heat recovery, positive input ventilation, mechanical ventilation with heat recovery, whole house heat recovery. They'll deliver fresh filtered air into your property. They'll save you energy and you don't have to open your windows. Useful tips from Envirovent. If you've taken energy efficient measures and you've sealed your property up, then you don't really want to be opening your windows because that's offsetting the energy that you're already saving. So either fit positive input ventilation, which just brings in fresh filtered air continuously. You don't have to open your windows. You'll never get condensation and mould, and it'll deal with any breathing difficulties. But also, if you've got old extract fans in your property, quite often they can use a lot of energy and they suck all your heat out. And you can quite quickly and easily replace them now with what's called single room heat recovery. You quite often don't even need an electrician to do it. And all you do, you take your old fan out, put a single room heat recovery unit in, it'll do the same job and get rid of all the moist air, but it'll save your energy. It'll bring around about 80% of the energy back in. Looking forward to the future, indoor air quality is going to become absolutely vital for the health of the nation. There's a huge drive now. It's a government commitment to reduce our carbon emissions by 80%, and over 40% of the CO2 emissions currently being produced are in our homes in the UK. So we've got to seal our properties up, and if we don't deal with indoor air at the same time, we could create a huge health problem. Over the last 20 years, as we've been trying to seal our properties up, make them more energy efficient, we've created an epidemic of asthmatics. There's now 5.4 million people suffer from asthma, which costs the government around about £1.5 billion a year just to treat the symptoms. And if they consider indoor air quality, in addition to the energy efficiency measures, they could offset a lot of that cost. So Environment are at the forefront of that. We're developing new products all the time. We manufacture in the UK. We're flying the flag for British industry and creating jobs. But also, we're making products that are not only energy efficient, but they're also going to create the right indoor environment to protect people's health.
So I think we're well on track, but it's about taking it further and further every single time. And again, I can't stress that is the responsibility of everybody to get involved if we're going to start meeting those targets.
The sun, wind and water will have to play a role in our future. The key benefit for the end user of electricity is that receiving this energy is free. Rivers run, the sun shines and winds blow. Once we have the power to harness, we have the power to save. Fossil fuels will continue to put an ever-increasing strain on our pockets in the coming years. But the chances to save energy and save money are all around us.